Wrestling fans, how's it going? The tone's back. You're gonna be getting two videos in one day today because I saw SmackDown earlier, and I'll be doing that right after I do my Impact video right here. My overall thoughts on Impact. Again, the 2 hours whizzed by. I actually thought it was a good show, but it had a wretched ending. Oh God. That just, I mean, I'll get into it. I thought all the matches on the show were from solid to good, except for one, which was a squash, but we'll get into that. I'll talk about that when I get to it. So, we kick off the show. Hulk Hogan comes out, NWO type of music, pyro and all, blah, 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 blah. And he says, when change happens, you better be ready, and then you need to make, you make friends as enemies and enemies. And he talks about Sting getting beat down by those three masked dudes last week. He says it was uncalled for, but he'll find out who the guys were, and he'll make it right for Stinger, brother. And he mentions that the open fight night, tonight is open fight night, and with being open fight night, and then being in the midst of the Bound for Glory series, anything can happen on tonight's show. On last night's show. So then he mentioned that, he told Austin Aries to decide what he was going to do about the X title. And he said, I'm waiting for the ring, so come on out, dude. And then Austin Aries hits the ring. He comes out. The fans chant his name, which was cool, I thought. And then Aries talks about their back and forth last week about what to do with the X title, if he wants a world title shot and all that stuff. Hogan says that he heard, it's like, if he heard... he asked Austin Aries if he heard what people want him to do, or whatever, and then Austin Aries gives his good promo here. He mentions that he says if he wants a world title match, he'd have to hand over the X title. He says that he could either give the title up or be the longest reigning X Division champion in TNA history. So then he says he weighs out the options, and he said on one side, to be the man in the promotion or whatever, you need to be world champion. But on the other side, TNA, the X title is what put TNA on the map. And he mentions, all the great X Division, matches and the wrestlers and I don't know, what kind of stuff and like that. And he says, he says that if he hands the belt over, it doesn't have any meaning. It loses all the meaning that it meant. So he came up with a third option, and that is that, and Hulk says, well, he better be one heck of a visionary if he's got a plan C. So then Austin Aries says he'll hand over the title on one condition, and that is if there's a standard set going forward. That being that this time of year, come Destination X, whoever the X Division champion is, they get the same choice that Austin Aries gets to either hold on to the belt or relinquish it and get a world title shot at Destination X. So he says that'll make the X Division title even more prestigious. So Hogan goes for that, and option C done. So I guess that's going to be a new thing. I don't know if hopefully they're going to remember it next year. They said, hey, Austin Aries gave up the X title to get a world title shot and said this is what the X Division champion should do every year. Hopefully, if God willing, they'll remember that. And that'd be cool, And then Bobby Roode comes out, and he says, what do you do? He told Hogan to stay in his office or whatever, and what do you do? And he asks Aries who he thinks he is, calling shots in his company, and he says that Austin Aries has got a paper belt, and it means nothing to him, and that Roode says that he himself is the real world champion, and he tells Aries that he made the biggest mistake of his life. The Roode says he's the it factor of TNA and, TNA's longest reigning champion. And he says, at Destination X, he'll beat, hurt, and embarrass Austin Aries. So then Austin Aries says, if Roode's so confident, this is open fight night, they can just go at it right now. So then they actually brawl a bit. And then, of course, referees, and I think Al Dilo and Simon Diamond came in to break it up. And then, Aries screams to Roode, like, hey, you're not tough, which was a good line. And then, a really good segment. And then and then out comes Mr. E. And he says he doesn't care who the champion at this is at Destination X because they'll be losing to the winner of the Bound for Glory series, that being him. So it was a really good opening promo. I thought the Ken Anderson part of it was a little on the weak side, but I thought it was really good. Like I said, they were saying, remember last year at this time it was, last year's Destination X, it was Austin Aries, who won a 4-way X Division match. It was a really great match to get a contract in the company, and actually he was re-signed because he was there before. And now, so it's kind of fitting, it's cool. And now that, it's like last year he had a match to get a contract in TNA. Now a year later he's challenging the world champion. So I kind of like that they, actually, I like that. What they're doing with that, how they're doing that. So then they go to commercial, back to the show. Ken Anderson's in the ring, and there's it's time for first of the Open Fight Night callouts. Since this is Open Fight Night this week, they get to call everyone out. The phone's ringing, and I hope someone answers it. Someone did. So then we go back to the show. Like I said, this is Open Fight Night, so that means anyone can come out and call out anyone in the Bound for Glory series or whatever. So Ken Anderson in the Bound for Glory series, he calls out Daniels. Christopher Daniels comes to the ring, and we have a match. So Anderson versus Daniels in the Bound for Glory series / Open Fight Night match, which is what most of these matches were. So Anderson won. He won by pinfall. That got him 7 points in the series. It was a good match. It was a little on the short side, but it was good. Then we go backstage to AJ Styles and Dixie Carter. She's asking if he's ready. AJ says he's not sure. He's saying maybe they shouldn't say anything. And I'm thinking, oh, good God, no. They said they're going to come clean, and then they're not going to say anything and leave us hanging with some bullshit again. And it was just like, then they're saying, Dixie says this hasn't been about Daniels or Kazarian, and AJ says maybe there's another way. I don't know what the hell was going on. This was so awful. And it was just, I was saying, I hope to God they end it tonight. The secret was revealed, but oh man. So then afterwards, they show before we go to the next commercial break, they show the knockouts, the four knockouts: ODB, Madison Rayne, Velvet Sky, and Mickie James in Hulk Hogan's office or Brooks or whatever, and Brooke will decide who the challenger for Miss Tessmacher's knockout title will be next. So we get back to the show, and Brooke is there in the office with those 4 knockouts. She's saying tonight's a big night. She wants to get to know why they want the knockouts title. ODB says that she's different than the other knockout. Madison Rayne says she's been knockouts champion before, and Brooke tells her not to worry about whoever she's got the goo eyes for, and her work should be her boyfriend or whatever. Mickie James says she's the greatest female wrestler in the world. She's held every women's title that's existed or whatever. And then Brooke says that things are changing and none of anyone's back talk is going to affect her decision. So then she tells Madison that she needs to get her head back in the game and be more focused. So Madison Rayne is eliminated from the picking. Awful segment. I thought there was just way too much back and forth talking here, and it was just, I thought it was just a little bit too long. And then Robbie E is in the ring with Rob, I think Rob Terry too, and he says that he isn't scared of anyone in the Bound for Glory series. And of course, he challenges anyone in the series to face him right now. Kurt Angle comes out. So we get Kurt Angle and Robbie E. Angle just beats him in seconds by submission, so Angle gets 10 points. Total squash. Then we go to the video package on the show's gut check contestant. The first female one, her name is Taylor Hendricks. She talks about how she overcame being diagnosed with cancer when she was only 21, and then she says that she wants to be the Knockouts champ and Knockouts tag champion. She'll get it all. I thought it was a good segment. I thought it was a good video package to build up the new person. So then Magnus comes out next, and he says that he's winning the Bound for Glory series because that means everything to him. And then we'll find out who he calls out next. So they go for another break, back from break, and Magnus says he's going to pick someone whose head isn't in the game. Magnus says he knows what it's like to have women in trouble while he's trying to focus, with women surrounding him and all that kind of bullshit, and what have you. So, there's my first what have you in the audio. We're trying to avoid that. And then he says he doesn't mess around with the bosses, with the women or with the married woman or whatever, especially when the woman is the one who signs the paychecks. So then he calls out that home wrecker, AJ Styles. So we get AJ and Magnus. Magnus won. Magnus got won by pinfall, got 7 points. What happened was Daniels and Kazarian came out. I think Daniels had an envelope that distracted AJ, and then Magnus I think he connected with a brain buster, got the pin. Decent match, but the finish with AJ getting distracted by Kazarian and Daniels was kind of eh. So then we get to go to it's gut check match time. JB is in the ring, and Taylor Hendricks is too. And then he introduces Taylor, and then brings out, and then she says, "Here's who Taylor Hendricks will be facing next." And Taylor comes out. So this is the gut check challenge match. Taylor Hendricks versus Tara. Tara wins. Solid match, but one thing I do have to say is, this is the third gut check person who's had a match, and all three have lost. All three have lost a match. I don't know why they keep having these gut check contestants lose. And they gotta have one. They gotta have one of these contestants win at some point. Because if they make them lose all the time, it's just gonna be too predictable. So then we go. Joseph Park is backstage with some production guy, whatever, and then Bully Ray comes in and he tells him to get lost. Ray says, he could smell the fear in Joseph or whatever, and then Joseph Park says that he was scared, but not as scared as Ray was when Abyss yanked him out of the ring in the gauntlet last week. And then Ray says that if he sees either of I'm calling it the Park brothers again, Joseph or Abyss, that'll be all we'll ever see of them. That'll be the last we ever see of them. Decent segment, mainly because Bubba Ray is such a great, a great heel. So, then we go to the ring. Samoa Joe comes in. He says no one in the back has the guts to call him out and say his name. So he figured he'd come out, and he calls out James Storm. So we get James Storm and Samoa Joe. Good match. Storm won by pinfall, so he's got 7 points in addition to the 20 he got at the Gauntlet last Thursday. So he's got 27. He's in the lead. A good match, and then afterwards, Samoa Joe gets a beer bottle, and he hints like he's going to hit Storm with it, but instead of that, he just hands it to him. And then he walks out, and that was pretty much it. Then they show a video package recapping the whole Dixie, AJ, Kazarian, Daniels, Stork and Angle in there if you want to storyline. Then we go back to AJ and Dixie again. AJ saying that Dixie's right, he can't focus on his matches or whatever. They got to tell the truth. They got to come clean tonight, whatever. So then back to Brooke Hogan with the remaining knockouts. She says she's trying to find out who's focused. Blah blah blah. Boom boom boom. Back and forth. Not even worth recapping all that. Then she eliminates ODB because she's married to Eric Young and too focused on being on board. Who the hell cares? So then ODB asks where Hulk's office is, and Brooke says that she's standing in it. Okay. Then Brooke tells ODB to make sure that Eric Young doesn't get jealous. Stupid segment, I thought. I wasn't really into that. So then Bully Ray comes out, says he's the most hated bully in the world, and he asks where Joseph Park is, and he says, oh, hey, he isn't here, it's about time you listen, And then he mentions that, there's 3 guys left in the Bound for Glory series that are still left to be called out. Jeff Hardy, Rob Van Dam, and the Pope. So Ray says he's going to take the easy win, and he calls out the Pope. Because he says the Pope has been in Hollywood the last couple of months because he's just going to be one of Bane's henchmen in the new Batman movie. So he said that Ray says he'll get his 10 points real easily. So we get to Pope and Bubba. Pope got the pin, so he got 7 points, so he's on the board. What happened was Abyss showed up in the crowd. Bully Ray got distracted, and then he had his back to Pope, and Pope took advantage of that, and he drop kicked him out of the ring. And then Abyss, came down the stairs into the crowd, and he was right in the front row. He grabbed Ray by the collar. Ray got loose, and then Abyss climbs over the guardrail. So Ray, been trapped, he gets back in the ring, and then Pope took advantage and got the pin. A solid match, and I thought having Abyss in there was was a good spot too. So then we get to Hulk Hogan backstage with Jeff Hardy and Rob Van Dam. He says that since neither one of them were called out tonight, they must be the biggest threats in the Bound for Glory series, and he tells them that they'll be facing each other in the main event tonight. So then, one of the dramatic moments of the night, Brooke Hogan will decide who challenges Miss Tessmacher for the Knockouts title after the break. So back from the break, they had clips of this pointless video from this Montgomery, whatever the hell his name is, who I never freaking heard of, that Velvet Sky was in. And then it was just pointless. Okay, so then Brooke Tessmacher comes out, and then Brooke Hogan is backstage with Mickey and Velvet, and she picks Mickie James. So we get Tessmacher versus Mickie for the Knockouts title. Tessmacher pins her, gets a 3 count, retains the title. Solid match, Then afterwards, Mickie had this really pissed off look on her face, so I guess they're going to be turning her heel. So then we get to Van Dam and Jeff Hardy in the final Bound for Glory series match of the night. Good back and forth match. Jeff won by pin, so he got 7 points, so he's on the board now. Like I said, all the matches were really solid to good tonight, I thought. And then we get to our horrifying closing angle. AJ Styles and Dixie Carter come out. Dixie gets on the mic, says, "This has been going on a while." No shit, Dixie. We know that. She says that situations like this can never have a positive outcome, and people's lives change from it. Whatever. And then AJ is having second thoughts again, and he just says to her, "Hey, hey, we can leave right now. We don't have to say anything." And then some random woman comes out, and AJ Styles holds the ropes open for her. Then she gets on the mic and she starts rambling. She says what her name was. I couldn't catch it. But then she says that she's the secret. The secret is that she came to AJ and Dixie for help because she is an addict, and she was trying to clean up her act, and she came to AJ and Dixie to put her in rehab. Yep, that's right. The whole fucking secret is about some random woman that AJ Styles and Dixie have been helping get clean of addiction. Why the hell why they wouldn't want her husband Dixie's husband Serge to know about this, and why the hell Daniels and Kazarian thought that AJ and Dixie were doing, having whatever, I don't know. So this chick says that she's an addict, she came to clean up her act. She says that AJ's got the highest moral character she's ever seen out of anybody. She says that, AJ and Dixie aren't having an affair, they're not together. They're helping her out, trying to clean up her act or whatever. She didn't want anyone to know. And then that's when Kazarian and Daniels got in the way. Say, what? How the hell can they, it's like, So then she says, it's like the photos of AJ and Dixie and the video of her those were both of AJ and Dixie looking out for this chick and trying to protect her. That doesn't make any bit of fucking sense. It's like, oh yeah, let's pretend we're having a fling so that no one knows that we're helping out this girl going to fucking rehab because she's a goddamn addict. Huh? So then they show Daniels and Kazarian backstage, and Daniels is all flipping out. He's like, wait, this can't be right. And she's over there blubbering, and she's saying she's sorry, the freedom hug. Then Kazarian and Daniels come out, and AJ runs, they go in the ring, and AJ just goes after them. He power bombs Kazarian, and then he just kneels over Daniels and just keeps punching him in the head, and that ended the show. Oh my God, this was a really awful segment. I mean, it ended the show on such a horrendous, wretched note. Speaking of wretch, I think that's what I might do. But overall, okay, and that was the show. So overall, like I said, I thought the show was good. The opening segment with Austin Aries and Hulk Hogan was really good. The end sucked. Something awful. It was like I mean, I knew it was going to suck, but this is like, I was just prepared for the worst, and we got it. The Brooke Hogan stuff sucked. Most of the matches were solid to good. I actually enjoyed most of the matches. You know, Kurt Angle and Robbie E was the only one because I was too short of anything. I was a squash. Anderson Daniels was good, but it was a little on the short side. The rest of the matches were good. You know, RVD and Jeff Hardy. Pope and Bully Ray was good. You know, the whole stuff with him and Joseph Parker, whatever you want to call it. That's been good. That's been good too. So overall, like I said, I thought this was a good show, and I really think there's definitely a different vibe to the show now that it's going, now that they're live. So that'll do it for me right now. And I'll be back in just a few minutes actually with my SmackDown recap. I get to see it early. So till just a little bit, I'm the Tony Viz, and I'll be back with my SmackDown video in a few minutes. Take care, all.